All right, welcome back, pre-calculus. This is section 2-3, day 2. We're going to finish up those section 2-3 notes. And for this, you are going to use your calculator to verify your results. Okay. All right. First of all, we are given an equation and we were given factors. So we are going to write this entire equation in factored form. And to do that, we're going to look at our factors and we're going to say, can I use synthetic division? Or do I need to use long division to factor out or to divide out the two factors here, to divide out the x minus 2 and to divide out the x plus 3 from f of x. Those are in the form that I can use synthetic division for both, which is making me happy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to start with x minus 2. My box number is going to be 2. I'm going to write the coefficients: 2, 7, negative 4, negative 27, negative 18. So I'm going to add. We get 2, 4, 11, 22, 18. I get 36. Add those up. 9. Multiply those. I get 18. Add them and I get a remainder. If these are factors, the remainder has to be 0. If you get a remainder and it's telling you that it is a factor, then you're doing the work wrong. So this tells me I've done the work correct. Now, that is one of them factored out. I need to factor out both of them. So I am not going to start over with x plus 3 at the beginning. I've already taken out x minus 2. I'm now going to start here with x plus 3, which my x value, my box value is going to be negative 3. And I'm not going to include the remainder of 0. I'm not going to include that from before. So I now have a smaller polynomial of lower power that I'm going to do synthetic division with. So 2, I'm going to add that together. We multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and we get another 0. That's great. Okay, at this point, that's the two factors that I was given. And I am going to write the polynomial that I have left. Since it was a degree of 4, with each one of these, we divided by a degree of 1. So I'm left with a degree of 2 when I'm done. So 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Now I need to write this in factored form, so I need to see, is this factorable? 2x and x. 3 has got to be 3 and 1. See if I put my 3 here and my 1 here. If I multiply those, I'll get 2x. If I multiply those, I'll get 3x. And I add them together. That gives me the 5x in the middle. So I have factored it correctly. All right, what do we need to write here? Rewrite the equation in factored form. So here's our factored form. X minus 2, x plus 3, 2x plus 3, x plus 1. And then the original question started with an f of x. So I'm going to make sure that we still have that f of x in the factored form. All right, example 2, or 5, whatever number it is, it gives us a 0. It does not give us a, it doesn't give us a factor. We can write this as a factor by making it say equals 0, adding that 1. And then the factor would be x plus 1. Since this is just a single number, I can use synthetic division to take it out. So I'm going to write down my x to the 4th is 1, my x to the 3rd is 6, my x to the 2nd is 11, my x is 6, and then I don't have a constant, so I do need that 0 spot. So I'm going to add this up. 1, -1, 5, -5, 6, -6, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so it was a degree of 4. We're going to go down 1 degree. So now I'm left with x to the 3rd plus 5x to the 2nd plus 6x, and then there's no constant. And then this is what we have to factor by hand. Now, while I'm looking at this, I should have seen it earlier, but I didn't happen to notice it. So I could have done this in a little bit different order, but hopefully you notice when our first step of factoring, is there a GCF? There is a GCF of x. I could have taken that out earlier and said that x equals 0 and pulled that one out as well, but I didn't. I'm going to pull it out right now. So I'll have x, and then I'll have parenthesis x squared plus 5x plus 6. I'll factor that a little bit further, and we'll have x. And then the x, let's see, plus 2 and x plus 3 is going to give us the 5x in the middle. So our factored form, we're going to start with f of x. Usually we put the x in front. And then the order is not going to matter too much until we start plugging things into Canvas. Then the order is going to matter. We're not quite there yet. So I've got 4 factors. My degree was 4. It's good. All right, example 6 has a radical 0 in it. This is something you should have done in Algebra 2. If you have a 0 that is radical form or complex, which I'll probably even talk about in a different lesson, which is imaginary, they only come in pairs. They only come in pairs. So if I have an x equals 2 plus square root 5, then I also have to have an x equals 2 minus square root 5. You guys know when we take the quadratic formula, it's x equals opposite b plus or minus square root. It's always a plus or minus when we have these zeros. So if you see one, you have to assume there is a second one. So let me write those as factors. So I'm going to set it equal to 0, x minus 2 minus square root 5. And then we'll have x minus 2 plus square root 5 as our two factors. Now, this one's a little bit different. I would not suggest, well, you can't do, maybe you can do synthetic division with these, but to me, that's not the best way of approaching this problem. What you actually want to do is you want to multiply these together first. These are called conjugates, and when you multiply conjugates together, the square roots are going to cancel out, and we're going to have a nicer looking polynomial to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply those together. You can use the distributive property. Some of you like to use the box. I'm going to use the box this time. Or the grid. Don't really know what this method is called. X minus 2 square root 5 and x minus 2 minus square root 5. Now I know I'm going to write too big, so I'm going to zoom in and change my pen size to make it smaller. I know I'm going to make a mess over here. Okay, so I just multiply each rectangle in the grid. Okay, so I multiplied all the rectangles in the grid. And then what ends up happening, which is really, really great, is that the x square root 5 and the minus x square root 5 cancel out. The 2 square root 5 and the minus 2 square root 5 cancel out. So we have x squared. We've got minus 4x. And then plus 4 minus 5, so minus 1. So that is the product of those two. So now when I go to divide out, I'm going to divide, and this is going to have to be long division. I'm going to divide out x squared minus 4x minus 1 because that is these two factors multiplied together. And the degree is 3. I only need one more factor. So I'm almost there. This should be a really short long division. So what was it? It was x squared minus 4x minus 1. Okay, so we divide x squared into x cubed. If you can't do it in your head, just put it on top of each other. That makes x. We're going to multiply. So I get x cubed minus 4x squared minus x. Draw the line, change the signs, add them. These cancel. We get negative 3x squared plus 12x. We bring it on down. Now this has to go in evenly because these were said to be factors. If it does not, if I have a remainder, I've made a mistake somewhere. All right, x squared into negative 3x squared. That gives me minus 3. And let's just make sure I didn't make a mistake anywhere. So negative 3x squared, that'll give me plus 12x. And that'll give me plus 3. So when I subtract those, everything's going to cancel. So this would be our third factor. So in factored form, let's see, this one is equal to 0. So I'm going to put my factored form equal to 0. That one I just found was x minus 3. Then we had x minus 2 plus square root 5 and x minus 2 minus square root 5 and then equals 0. So it matches the original form of the question. Now it says to use your graphing calculator to verify your results. I cannot tell you how many people just don't do this and then get wrong answers. And it's a number of different reasons why they get wrong answers, but you gotta check your answers. So let me pull out my graphing calculator. And I'm not going to do all of them because it just takes me forever to type it in on the computer. It's just like so slow. But just to do one of them for you, let me let's see here. I'll just do the first one. Okay. So I'm going to type in the original. So 2x to the 4th, 7. Oh, shoot. Here's another reason why it takes me forever, because I make silly mistakes. Okay, 2x to the fourth, arrow, plus 7x to the third, minus 4x squared, minus 27, x minus 18. All right, so that's the first one. I'm going to go down and I'm going to put the factored form as my second equation. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, I was trying to use my keyboard. It doesn't work. Okay, so I got them both typed in, hopefully. I'm going to hit Zoom 6 just to fix my window, just in case it was messed up from a different class. And there's my first graph. And then my second graph, it looks like it fits on top. Just to be completely sure, you could zoom really far out, or you could just check out your table. So second graph, and all of the numbers should match. If some of them match but not all do, you've done something wrong. So all of the numbers should match. All right. I believe that is the end of these notes. Yep. So you've got a worksheet. Let me know what questions you have. I definitely will be helping you on this. Have a great day.